Hello everyone and welcome to a special edition of UniversalGiant Plays Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Remember all those extra power-ups I mentioned that we wouldn't have been able to get in the adventure? Guess what? We're going back and getting every last one of them. And I even had enough time to leave in every bit of the level up until that point for each power-up. Isn't that just awesome? So we get to do more city skateboarding. We're actually going to go through these power-ups in a bit of an order. We're going to do all of Sonic's power-ups in the order of his levels appearing in the adventure mode. Then we're going to do all of Shadow's. Then we're going to move on to the mech guys, and finally the treasure hunters. You'll notice there are a couple of things you can return to the old levels and activate as sort of secrets that you couldn't have done without abilities you pick up in other stages. For instance, the flame ring we picked up in Crazy Gadget Stage 15 we can actually use in this stage and break open steel containers. They carry it on throughout anything you do at this point in the game. Because once you get the power up, you don't have to get it again, you have it permanently. You can actually see all of them on the characters' bodies. You can see Sonic has the light shoes, and the flame ring is on his whichever wrist it is, because he's got the bounce bracelet on the other one. Which comes in handy for grinding down these rails. I mean, it makes a couple of these easier. But yeah, I'll show a couple of different ways you can go around here that you didn't see in the adventure mode. And this time I know to avoid that robot over there. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, I might as well quit. Don't worry, we're getting pretty close to Sonic's first power-up. It's actually right over here. Remember the little square of 4 metal containers over here we couldn't break open? You actually need the flame ring and the bounce bracelet to get through here, and if I can avoid that spring a little bit better, we will get one of arguably Sonic's best power-up. The magic gloves. You can use the Y button to change your attack to magic hands, and if you stand near an enemy, you can put the hold B. You can put them in a little bubble and throw them at other enemies. It's awesome. Now we move on to Shadow's power-ups that we missed. Radical Highway. I believe this is where I first mentioned you could get power-ups. And he still has all of his abilities as well. So we're just going to speed our way through this part of the level. This power-up isn't too far in. You might actually be surprised as to where it is if you've never gotten it before. A couple of these are out of the way. You may not have even realized you were passing because the camera zooms all the way to the right. But little do you know there's a sign pointing into the left. And over here you can do a ring dash to get to Shadow's flame ring, which allows him to do a fire somersault as well. Now we're on to the mech guys. Tails is returning to Prison Lane for no reason, because there's no Sonic here to save him. See, you can actually go up over there. I forget what's above the boxes we're walking in right now. But that's also a secret you can access now that you can break open steel containers. Yeah, I'm not going to be going through all of the levels and showing you where every single secret is, just where all of the power-ups are. You'd be surprised as to how quickly you can go through some of these levels with some of the abilities you have, or at least just knowing how to get through them. It's a lot faster. Oh, watch out, you told me this before. I don't need you here anymore. I wish there was a cheat or something that you could disable all of the Omochows. Do I wish that? Maybe Omochows shouldn't even appear after the adventure mode. You know? I don't need tutorials on how to play the game after proving that I know how to play the game, right? I couldn't have gotten this far had I not known how to play in the first place. But yeah, more Tails. You know, Tails has always been a kind of curious creature for me, because he sounds like he's very, very young, but at the same time, some of the things that he does, I mean, the robots he's able to build, or the schools he goes to, and how smart this fox actually is, makes me wonder, how old is Tails? Has anyone else wondered, how old is this guy? I mean, Sonic, you know, I don't even know if animal years would factor into all of this. Like, how old these guys actually are, how long they've been on the planet Earth. I'm not talking about relative, like, dog years, human years, fox years, hedgehog years. No, I just want to know, how old are they? That's all I want to know. Maybe I would take away from a bit of the mystique. But I want to know. Because this guy sounds like a little kid, but he's as smart as Eggman. I don't know, that's just my take on Tails. I find that a bit disturbing that I have no idea how old this thing is. I mean, anyone that can build a transforming airplane mechanical walking robot has to be older than this kid sounds, I'm sorry. Okay, when you get here, don't hit the goal ring. Instead, you want to shoot down an enemy in the far left corner. You can get through here because you can break steel containers, and that gives Tails' new upgrade, the Laser Blaster. It's hard to explain what the Laser Blaster does, but basically, when you lock onto enemies, the blast radius is a little bit bigger. So if you happen to, say, hit one dynamite block over there, you might happen to explode the other two, rather than having to lock onto all three. You can actually blow up more than one target, even though you only targeted onto one. And that's indicated by the blue laser that Tails now shoots. It's no more powerful, it's just that it spreads a little bit bigger, a little wider, covers more of a range. Now we're here in Hidden Base. You might have noticed, as we were going through here casually, that there was a little wall of steel containers. I don't remember if I mentioned in passing or not that you could actually do something with that later. That later is now, and that's what we're here to do. Also, it really helps you get through these levels quickly remembering where those flying robots pop up. Because I swear, if you don't remember where they are, it's really hard to catch them. But if you head off to the left, which I believe we did the first time, there's our wall of metal crates. Break that down, take it slow so the camera can actually zoom, and Tails gets a Mystic Melody. Everybody gets one of those. Now we're finally moving on to Dr. Eggman's power-ups, Iron Gate. And this one is not as far into the level as Tails' laser cannon was in Prison Lane. This is actually, I think it's about halfway through the level. I don't remember offhand how far into it is. But these walker levels are a hell of a lot easier with the hovering. I mean, especially if you go back to levels like Sand Ocean or... I was about to say... No, I'm not even going to say it now. But levels like Sand Ocean are so much easier with the hovering. Because you don't have to wait for all of those platforms to move. You can actually jump to them and hover to them. But here, you can jump down there and blow up all of the little locks on the door and get through there without waiting for the platform to go down. But I just think it's a kind of stupid risk. I don't want to risk dying on a really easy thing. So over here, instead of going off to the right, what you want to do is blow up little metal crates to the left, and that will give you Dr. Eggman's Laser Blaster, which does the exact same thing as Tails', so I need not explain it. Now we return to Sand Ocean. This power-up is not nearly as far into the level as most of the others were. In fact, as you may or may not have guessed, that's all the way off to the left here. You just want to make sure not to hit any of the bombs that robot drops. Eggman's Mystic Melody. 15 seconds, quick and painless. Now on to the Treasure Hunters. Knuckles' Wild Canyon. Remember the paintings that we could drill through in Death Chamber? There are a couple of them around here, and one of them is all the way up here. And it leads to yet another Mystic Melody. I sense a theme here. Finally, we move on to Rouge's Mystic Melody. has the same sort of painting over here, and if you're fast enough, you can actually get here in 7 or 8 seconds. Boy, that was fast. And the last power-up that we haven't shown yet is Security Hall. This is the only power-up that requires getting the Mystic Melody first. Because you fly over here, play the Mystic Melody next to this little... what do you call that? A pedestal? I don't even know. So you need that, Mystic Melody, and the Iron Boots to break open these steel containers. And that will give you the Treasure Scope, which is Rouge's equivalent of the sunglasses unless you see hidden objects as Rouge. Anyway, that's going to do it for this part of the playthrough. Stay tuned for the next part!